All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Hajime no Ippo, Season 3, Episode 13.
All right.
Ippo connected.
Yep. He finally got this one to work.
Yep.
And oh my god, let's hope it's enough. And that he can go follow through and
go into that chain, get that Dempsey roll going, and take Ryuhei out.
With jet engines and everything just going crazy.
All of it. Because Ippo, you have taken a lot of damage to get to this point. So landing one punch on him, that's great. Probably not enough.
Yeah. So let's make it into about 7 to 17, you know?
And then do that a couple times.
And then just
Yeah.
put everything into that.
Exactly.
He won't get up, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the fight's not over, guys. Right. Fight's not over. Not until he's down for the count and actually
Because Ippo needs to thoroughly beat this guy. Like,
right.
absolutely crush him
that's
when it's all said and done.
That's part of the character battle as well. Is that for Sawamura here, his teacher, this guy, really asked Ippo, please, basically like Sendo's, grandma, put the fear of God in that boy. Scare the shit out of him.
Yep.
Show him that there are people way stronger than him. And catching him on a fluke might not be enough. Now, it was a very well-prepared fluke, Ippo, but that it did actually connect here, and he was so fully into that punch.
But he's even taken your punches before, so,
Yeah.
make it extra.
Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. That's the end. That's
that was
the fight.
Wow. That was an episode.
Climactic conclusion with the most devastating of just Sawamura's head nearly went off his neck there.
Yep.
That was just ridiculous.
As crazy as Ippo's punches are in this show, because he's up against such strong opponents all the time, I feel like it can be easy to forget just how devastating his fists are.
Right.
Like the idea that when this hits meat sack go ow. Like
right. And this is a
big
boxer
ow.
that goes into the punches there. So Ippo is getting basically a multiplier attached to his punches.
Yeah, I loved that mechanic for how basically the fight ended up being prolonged, because one of the things I was very curious about is Ippo landed that first punch, right? It was a very solid punch, right?
Right.
How would they make it so that it wouldn't go into the Dempsey roll immediately, because it would feel a bit cheap if the Dempsey roll
survived that.
If Sawamura survived that, right? So, but the idea that no. In the same way that Sawamura was doing a counter that would have that double effect, right? That would totally take Ippo out. If Ippo managed to get around that and hit him, it would take Sawamura out same way.
Yep.
So, yeah, of course. The fact that Sawamura even got up after that is kind of ridiculous, because, like...
Sawamura had taken serious body blows, but he hadn't taken a hit like that in the head yet.
And he'd never taken a multiplier hit from Ippo. Like, if a Volk, when he hadn't been training in a long time and was also holding back, knocked out Ippo for a good amount, quite a long time...
Right. We can infer that Ippo training a lot in the last, year or so.
That will destroy someone, right?
So Sawamura was nearly defeated off of effectively one punch.
Yep. Which is awesome.
He gets up because his malice, his willpower, his pain, and also just his overall desire to not lose. And I liked that whole thing of where him losing isolates him.
Yeah.
So he needs to win.
Right. He's already lost everything else. He has no one in his corner and all that stuff. So he's not going to lose this one thing that's always been at his side, right?
So the feral hunger, the delight of the idea of, no, I can still fight. I can still do this. That's got to invigorate him, get him all fired up to go again. In some ways, setting up that line where Sendo says at the end, his punches give you life, in that you've never been hit that hard.
Right.
Sawamura. That's probably the hardest you've ever been hit in your life. And yet it knocked so much into him that he actually bounced back up at the last second.
It felt like the kind of thing where by Ippo doing that punch, it basically brought all of the stuff from within Sawamura up to the surface, right?
Yep.
Because he had to rely on
everything.
All of it. So it's kind of like this thing where, yes, that's what he needs to do for victory, but also for his own growth as a person and for the emotional resolution of this story.
Yep.
It's perfect because he's personally invested in make sure that he cleans out everything. He scrapes every bit of malice and everything that he can draw from his screwed up past and bring it all into his fist so that he can defeat Ippo.
Right.
But guess what? Once you do that, it's all in one place that can then get dealt with. Right.
And thus, even when it comes down to it, he didn't even know his left from his right. He's using the ref as a shield. Barely makes him survive that round. So that when we go into the next round, we have the really crucial moment of the episode. And this is what I thought was really special that they did this here.
Oh, man.
Was they had the moment where when he drinks the water, and he's like, please. And he's like, oh, yeah, I got you, bro. And when he drinks the water and he's like sloshing it around, and he's like, oh, that hit the spot. There are moments where you're so physically exhausted, you drink water, and it's like the sweetest of nectars, and it's just life energy just flowing through you.
It's wonderful.
And he almost has like an out-of-body experience there where he's hearing the noises of them cheering his name, almost as if he wasn't hearing anything else. Like he was so present in the match that he forgot, who was around him there. But he realized how, connected he was, how much he was not even close to being alone. He had so many people, not just in his corner, but here for him. And that being so opposite to what Sawamura is experiencing, where he can't hear any of it.
Right.
He's so deadlocked in this immediate moment here that the warm light of it just, I don't know, it lifted me up too.
It was.
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. Like it just felt so dramatic and epic, and then we have the operatic stuff going on in the background.
Later. The music this episode is fantastic.
Music was just grandiose.
And one of the things that I really appreciate that they got into this episode, which also, by the way, something I want to point out, Kamigawa addressed the concern from the previous episode that I had. So thank you so much for that, right? The idea that, yes, Ippo was trying to do this new Dempsey roll the whole time, but he couldn't quite get the timing right because Sawamura is a terrifying counterpuncher, right? And this is the first time he's had to use it against an actual opponent, really, because, it's so damaging, you don't just want to do it for kicks, right?
Right.
So he didn't get it those first two times. Awesome. So that's also something where we can basically say that is something that hopefully Ippo won't have to do in the future because he figured out how to get the hang of it, right?
Yep.
Then he comes in, he manages to do it. Great. It works. Awesome. But then when he has to do it the second time, Sawamura's no pushover.
He saw how you did it, right? And he's like, oh, it's pretty simple. You just stop.
Yeah.
I can do that too.
Yeah. Two can play this game. I'm not the one that has to throw my momentum into this crazy, thing.
Yeah.
So it's probably easier for me to stop. Yeah. I'll shift to match, right?
Yeah.
And then we see where Ippo really is the better boxer, right? Because if it was simply just the juke who gets the higher initiative roll, whatever, and then managed, okay, cool. That's awesome. But the way Ippo did this
after that,
so it's 3 in total? 3 in total on a single punch. What? Like, and the fact that he went around him, like, because the big thing that I could see being a problem for Ippo's career after this is that since everyone could figure out that this is a way to beat the Dempsey, right? Now, maybe not all boxers will be able to do this because they might not be great counterpunchers.
And they might not have as good reflexes and coordination.
Yeah, they might not have as good reflexes and coordination, but this is what everyone's going to be training to do, right? They're going to...
All the counterpunchers will.
Well, yeah, all the counterpunchers for sure, right? And even if they're not quite on this level, he'll have a lot of people that could probably get to the level where they could just counter the Dempsey at least maybe once,
Which might be enough.
Right? It could definitely be enough. And we definitely don't want Ippo to have to do this every match because then that will ruin his career, right?
That's why he'll just come up with different types of jukes.
Exactly.
Ones that aren't as all in.
Yes, but also one of the things that this does, because he so completely destroyed Sawamura in this way, in a creative way, right?
Yes.
That might be something where the people watching it, like Miyata, for instance, it's the, oh, okay, I should focus on something else.
Yeah, I think there are other areas worth more, they're less risky.
Because unless I'm wanting to just endurance rush Ippo's career and hope that he damages himself so much that he has to stop doing that so that then I can beat him. Like that doesn't seem very sustainable for an individual boxer, right?
No.
So hopefully that will be enough of a like, don't try it, you know?
Right.
Like because they're like, yeah, all right, point made. I'll come up with something else, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe the only people that will try it will be like if he goes up against, you know, Martinez, you know. Then it's like he will definitely be doing that. But that way,
I don't think Martinez would ever even have an issue with Ippo's Dempsey roll to begin with.
He wouldn't even let Ippo start it. Like,
well, yeah, he's so into the fundamentals and stuff that he just again beat him with his left. I think that
probably,
the issue with the Dempsey roll in particular is that it has any kind of rhythm. The thing that was so strong, right. The thing that is so strong about, in some ways, in a really funny way, about Sawamura here. Was his bullet punches. Like his bullet punches is a perfect offense-defense combination. Like there's nothing really weak about it.
That was probably the best thing he had in this fight.
Yeah, because when it came down to it, Ippo expended so much energy just to be able to avoid them that he then would have to weave in approaches so that he could actually deliver a punch.
Yeah.
And then all Sawamura had to do was either adjust or fake him into,
I have two hands.
I now have my right. And then, bam.
Yep.
And I really feel like this was an instance of where Ippo needed him to believe that the counter would work as well, so that he would actually like go in and roll the dice on that and be like, well, all I need is to roll not, a 5 or lower,
Right.
As long as I do that, I'm fine. Wait. He just used his reaction and stuff to bring it back up to a 50-50. Oh, shit. Yeah. He watches it roll into a 9 and he's like, no.
Right. Like, because Ryuhei's fundamentals, like that was actually the thing that surprised me the most about this match as a whole.
Because he's a cheater.
Because he's a cheater.
And yet his fundamentals are...
But his fundamentals were flawless.
They're really good.
Like they were excellent, right? Like that's the kind of thing where I would actually be surprised if you now I know that Martinez would destroy Ryuhei, right?
No chance.
Yeah. No chance, right?
It was just whose left is better. Well, right. Martinez's. So
you're right. Yeah. But how much better? Like, because I feel like
way better.
No, you're right. But compared to like, yes, no
chance.
No, I
remember the speed.
No,
do you remember the speed?
I'm with you. But like, if you were to measure all the other metrics, right? Like of Ryuhei and like Ippo and things like that. I can't measure
question mark against 97, Jacob. You don't do that.
But I feel like Ryuhei's bullets were or pistols. Was it? No, it was bullet. I feel like those were approaching question mark.
No. So remember the issue with them in particular was that he angled the side of his body a bit,
and he would just. But the recoil was nothing.
It was the idea that he could fire another one really quickly after that because of the twist aspect.
Yeah.
Which is very similar to what Mashibo was doing, but Mashibo's was more of like a whip rather than a corkscrew style.
Mashibo could probably get extra range and more like put it wherever he wants, and it's harder to avoid.
Right, but the thing with the thing with Martinez was he was able to tell based on the striations and inflections of the muscle where they were going to punch, meaning that he would time his lefts so perfectly that it was effectively a counter jab
with his left.
His left, just casually, just bop.
No.
Oh, you're about to punch, bop. What are you doing? Bop. I don't even compare the two.
No, I know, but I would. All I'm saying is that especially if the relationship dynamic between Ryuhei and Ippo shifts because of Ryuhei's growth as a result of this fight, and it gets to a point where Ippo is going to fight Martinez, I would not be surprised. Okay. I would not be surprised, even though that would be way off in the distance. He would be way better boxer.
I just want to go back to the episode.
Yeah. I'm just saying I would not be surprised if he ended up going to Ryuhei to be like, okay, let's figure out how to get past his left,
Okay,
but,
gotcha.
But back to the episode.
So in the episode, Ippo's gained so much because he's able to have so many other people on his side here. Sawamura, though, in the end, does have 2 people in his side here, in his corner. They go with him on the stretcher there, and they're very happy that things turned out this way, while they're also very disappointed that he lost.
And concerned for his physical well-being.
Yeah, he has an eyeball that's sunken in, and he'll need surgery because of his skull being fractured up here. Jesus, man. Like, okay. But I loved that Sendo went over to him and was just like, yeah, man, it's a hell of a thing, right?
Yep.
Gonna get you fired up, huh? And then he kind of slumps over of like, I don't want to talk about it right now.
Right, exactly. Like, bit of a sore spot.
Yeah. And I just love that Sendo kind of brought it all back to the idea that all these boxers like Date and Miyata and him watching up there got them fired up in their own ways, despite being either in different divisions, not active currently, or Sendo, where he's just like, one day, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And that's the classic stuff right there.
It felt like it was, because, okay, Ryuhei has enjoyed boxing up till now, but the reason that he enjoys it, I feel like, is because it's the, he's actually enjoying this is what I would have loved to have done to my father, right? It's the well, you know, and I ended up, you know,
killing him,
you know, put a knife in him, right?
He did do that,
right? But it's still coming from that place. He's not actually enjoying boxing for what boxing is. He's enjoying boxing for the way it reminds him of that, the way it's similar, right? Like,
especially when it's really close to it.
Yeah,
where he feels like he's tackling something that's a really succulent meat, as he calls it.
Yeah. Whereas now I feel like because of this, he might actually get to the point where he's like, you know, damn it, I think I love this sport.
Oh, like boxing as a just independent
just independently.
I could see that.
Like, not because I want to sink my teeth into my opponent and all that stuff and get the best meat or whatever, and you know, but I like the challenge. I like the pitting my wits and my brawn and everything against someone else.
Yeah, I would love to see Sendo and Sawamura have a fight at some point.
Oh yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
And that could be like Sendo's stepping block before he gets to maybe face Ippo again.
And it would be very similar for Ryuhei because Sendo and Ippo's fighting styles are very similar, even if Sendo doesn't use the Dempsey.
Right.
Yeah.
I really loved the animation as well.
Oh yeah,
the parts where before they were getting into the actual Dempsey roll salvo and everything. The hits that Sawamura was taking and the way they would contort his face. Yeah. See, these are the kinds of things of where it's not about freezing a frame in an anime and being like, look at this animation. It's that moment where they basically exaggerate the body structure of the bit there to showcase the speed, the power, the devastating effect
to make
that
you
these
just be like,
have.
Oh, even if
my body hurts just like watching that.
Even if I'm rooting for this person to get their face beat in,
I don't want to see that again. Like, that was terrifying.
Just trying to imagine what that would feel like. No, thank you.
Also, this might have been, I don't know, I'll have to go back and check, but this might be the most damage Ippo has ever done to another boxer.
I think so.
It's pretty close.
I think Sendo
probably is a
little bit more because he actually went in for seconds. You know, like he took the Dempsey and then was like, then it didn't end the fight, you know. So
right, but we saw the cracking and the crushing.
Right, yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, when they mentioned the 3 or 4 broke or cracked ribs or whatever, I definitely was thinking of the fight with Sendo.
Yeah, just same.
Like, oh god, God.
Yeah, but also he had broken teeth, which
not surprising.
I want to bring up something here that I feel like is also rather poignant, is that he's the vampire.
Oh,
and he literally had his teeth broken in. Hey, those fangs, buddy, they're not going to serve you well in this arena.
Yeah, I like it.
So next time you come back to this, you'll have another set on your top row. But if you don't do this properly, you'll lose those too.
And in a more literal ramifications in the future, you might not be able to eat steak for a while.
Yeah.
You know, now granted, they were probably front teeth, right?
They're probably literally the front two on the top and bottom, I would guess.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
But also they probably could just be the top row of the top 4 there because
who knows?
Depending on how slumped forward he was, the part that's really devastating about a punch is the knuckle here.
Right, and thankfully it's got the glove to kind of cushion that a bit.
But if you were to hit the teeth hard enough in a specific way, I could see them getting knocked out. But they said broken teeth, which means they were not they were not loose. Sawamura had gritted his teeth because he was going for the punch, which meant that...
I try not to think about that.
Right, but I know, I just wanted to drive home how devastating this punch was. Because he was going in, that meant that he was gritting his teeth and being like, I'm going to punch you as hard as I can. That drives all that strength there.
Yep. And there's the mouth guard and all that stuff.
Who knows actually which teeth got shattered there? Because all of them are locked, clenched in.
Yep.
You
might have to eat some soft foods for the next...
Soups.
6 months, you know.
You're going to be drinking from a straw.
Yeah, maybe some mashed potatoes and... Yeah.
And you can look lustfully at your steak, you know, but you will not be able to eat it until it has been really tenderized. I mean...
Yeah. You know, have that one side of your mouth that still has the molars fully, you know, good and everything. And
if they do a post-match little bit of a thing there, I want the teacher to go up to Ippo and be like, I'm going to be taking care of him. Thank you so much for what you did. And you know what you did? I think that he's going to keep boxing for a long time now, thanks to you. And I don't know if he's fully going to change forever. But you hit him so hard, you made him switch tracks, basically. Like, and who knows how long he stays on this track, but I just want to see that. And also, I said in the reaction, but I got to shout out Kamogawa for making Ippo train his legs. Kamogawa is literally the reason why he didn't have a career-ending injury here. Never skip leg day.
Also something I really want to shout out, because I really appreciate this. So with the doctor, I forget her name, but with her saying no more than 2 times, right? And Ippo going past that. Now, I'm really glad that Ippo didn't go much past that. Right? Because Yamaguchi, that's right. Because one of the things that I really appreciate about Yamaguchi in this show is that she is a doctor, but she also understands the sport, right? Because most doctors would just say, don't box, right? Like, why the hell would you do that, right? Like you want to talk about not injuring yourself.
She's a physical therapist for athletes.
Right, exactly.
She understands that the body's getting broken constantly.
So it's the I can't condone this behavior, but if you're going to do it, keep it limited to this, right? And so I like that it wasn't something where Ippo went into like the 8-9 times of doing it, because then it would make her the feedback that she gave seem cheapened, right? So the fact that he went past it, but like, you know, almost just perfectly in that he went twice as much, but not anymore, you know, like he did an extra 2, but
also this might be the genius thing with that to add to that. Because he started and stopped within the same thing, that meant that the windup necessarily for those second and third stops
might not have been as less.
Sure. Meaning that because he was already in so much pain, that's what he had to do.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. Because if you think about it, Ryuhei, the whole notion of a counter, right, is not that you move once they're doing the motion, it's that you move as they're doing the motion, because you can tell, you look at them and you tell when they're starting the motion. You plot their trajectory, right? In baseball, you don't actually really watch the ball as it comes in. You watch the pitcher wind up and you're swinging already as they're throwing the ball.
Yeah, you're stepping into it.
You're already stepping into it, and then
you only have like a quarter second to decide whether you're swinging.
Right, exactly. And then you just try and make it line up, right?
Yep.
So in this situation here, when Ippo's gearing up for the next going into it, Ryuhei doesn't have the time to let it go into the full momentum before it's okay, now I counter, right? So it feels very sort of stutter steppy, right? Where it like a MOBA or something like that, where it's like, all right, you know, or like in those
Smash Bros.
Or Smash Bros. Or in the movies where they have like the fencing duels and the people are like edging their feet up just a little bit, you know, because it's the okay, I could start now, but no, wait. And so that was
I would love to see the whole thing played out in, it doesn't have to be hardcore Sakuga animation, but I would love to see it played out in real time. Because while I love slow-mo dramatic animation, it is primarily there so that we can see the nuances and stuff.
Right.
But once it's been done that way, I would pay money to see these kinds of moments played out in 2 seconds, where the 2 seconds is real time, and I just replay it 1,000 times.
And then it's just, and then
and then it's over. That's it.
Yeah.
Because when I've seen the what was his name? The guy from the 20s that actually
Jack Dempsey.
Jack Dempsey. Yeah. When I've seen him actually perform this it's over in about 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast it is.
The wind up is just that. Like that's it.
Right.
You don't see it wind up 12 times or something. That's for the anime dramatics and stuff like that. But the approach,
oh yeah,
that's most of the time. And then it's just 1-2 with the punches. And it's so devastatingly powerful because not only is he putting everything into this, but because when he does the windup, they are punching and missing his rhythm just barely.
Right.
So then when he hits them, they're already leaning into it, and it just
yeah,
you just see these huge guys just
crumble.
fall
Yeah,
to this little dude.
And that's one of my favorite parts about seeing fights where you take two badasses, throw them against each other, and then somehow one of them gets made to look like a chump because they when the thing happens, they're just taken out. Right.
It feels like it should be kind of equally distributed, based on some kind of stats thing there, but no, it's they did something 2% better than the other person,
and then
did.
that caused them to,
and then all the damage gets applied, not like 2% of the damage.
Right. So, and one of the ways they could do that in this show is like, let's say now that Ippo's done this, well, certainly a lot of the other people that would have been chomping at the bit to take down the Dempsey, but even people in higher like realms of boxing and stuff on like the world stage,
like Miyata's involved in now.
Right. Like what Miyata's involved in, they could be like, oh, there's going to be a new challenger. Ippo, he did this thing. He used the Dempsey roll. What? Dempsey roll? Come on, that's ancient stuff. We can take that apart.
Tapes and they go,
no. Yeah, but then they're like, no, but look at this. And then they see him do the thing, and then since they're watching it like that on a video, we could see it in real time as Ippo just and then he goes around and then boom, and it's over, and they're just like, oh, I see. That is concerning, like
I would love to see again another kind of boxing match style where it's kind of a psyche type situation where Ippo has to chase the other boxer. I really still think that to this day, the one match that Ippo really should have lost was that match.
Yeah.
And that it was just because the guy was so dang fast.
Right.
And
doesn't matter if your damage is stupid high if you can't connect.
Hit, it does not matter.
And
if you are Ganondorf against Fox, you have to actually hit Fox, otherwise Fox will just dance around you and grab down B and all this stuff bouncing you around.
And that is why the knights in plate armor and long swords got swapped out for people in leather or cloth and rapiers. So. Yeah. I'm very excited to see how Ippo goes into this next stage of boxing. This is going to be crazy.
Yeah. And this is also episode 13, which feels very apropos within the core structure of things.
Yes, that's true.
And in the OP, we did get set up for some Takamura-looking stuff.
Yeah, there was some golden boy that he was facing off against, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, so y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yes, we stream every weekday. Info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.